Dan, Story, Nightrace, welcome to your chat RPG. This is the first time that we've allowed a group to enter the dungeon together. I am sure that you will all do marvelously well. I want the three of you to understand a little something before you go into this. This dungeon wasn't really designed to have multiple people go through it simultaneously, but I will do my best. I cannot also promise that there won't be area effects that snuff all of you out simultaneously, but we'll see. It depends, really, on what you decide to do and how you decide to do it. So, this adventure is for you. What I'm going to be doing is asking you to help me build characters, and I'm going to start by getting all of your names on my sheet here. This is playthrough number 5. Lucky number 5. I'm sure you guys are going to do great. We've got Dan. We've got Story. And we've got Nightrace. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to ask you all, thank you for the sub, Deathstorian. I think that might have actually happened a while ago. Oh no, that was right now. All right, fantastic, thank you. And thank you for gifting that 50th Falcon. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask you to build your characters. So the first thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is to select your ancestry. I do not double up on these. You can choose between human, dwarf, elf, and goblin. So those are your options. Human, dwarf, elf, and goblin. I will let you guys decide, and I will write those down. Story wants to be human. Okay. You know what? Actually, this is Ancestry. You guys can double up if you want. Yeah. Ancestry, I don't care if you double up. It's class I don't want you guys to double up on. You guys can be whatever you want. So, Story, you've decided to be human. Dan, do you want to stick with elf? Nightrace, you're going human? Alright, Dan, I'm marking you down as elf. Next, I need you guys to pick your background. Your background will determine some of the basic kind of other abilities that your character has. You can choose between barkeep, street urchin, merchant, or acolyte. Those are your choices, each one of you. Decide now. These choices really don't make a huge impact on your character. Your characters are really kind of loosey-goosey defined in my head, so, you know, we'll work with it. Street urchin. There's a lot of those. Alright. StoryTheBard. Street urchin. Nightrace. This is not how the Baron is dealing with his homeless problem, even though it certainly does seem that way. Acolyte, very good. All right, gives you a little bit of knowledge about the gods. Very good. More and more street urchins get murdered in this dungeon than anything. It's just, yes, send more street urchins to solve the problem. That's what's happening. All right. So next up. And this is the part where you guys need to each pick separately. You need to select your class. It looks like Story wants to be a fighter. Rogue for Dan. That's not a surprise at all. So, Nightrace, as the final member, you can choose between Cleric or Wizard. No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. After this, we will have gone through 5 playthroughs, and I may open up another spellcaster, or another class. We're going to start opening up more of these. I wanted to keep it nice and limited at first, so... Cleric. That's a good choice. And we had one cleric go through this. We've had this will mean that we now have had every class go through. I think we did before, didn't we? We had a cleric, a fighter, a rogue, and a wizard. Yeah, no, we had all of them. All right, great. All right. So, next up, a cleric of Milani. All right. Okay. Finally, I need each of you to come up with a name. 3 rooms. If they make it to a new room, I'll be shocked. Myth the Grey Fox. Varsul, the Human Cleric. And Dan, you're going with Sirhand. Sirhand. Dan played in my home game for many years, playing a character named Sirhand, who was also a rogue. Alright. So, Sirhand, Varsul, and Myth. Now, I have an additional question for you guys, because I need to be able to refer to you as a group. So, do you have a name for your adventuring party? No, totally different. Yeah, no, I can tell. I can feel how totally different it is. Do you guys have a name for your group? It'll be handy when I put this up on YouTube. Yeah, his name is Sirhand. Super urchins. Nightrace, they're both putting it on you. Nightrace, what's the name of the group? Why are you like this? Feel free to take one of their suggestions. That's perfectly fine. You guys are all very funny. All right. Have you picked one, Nightrace? These are all great. What Steve said. Let's see, where was Steve? Steve's was in here. The 3 Munchkineers. Alright, you are the 3 Munchkineers. A street performing group. I assume 2 of you play some sort of percussion instrument while the acolyte stands in front and preaches about the glory of Milani on the streets. So, the 3 Munchkineers. It is a sunny day in Emberton, the capital of Baron Talymir's noble kingdom. And the 3 of you have just completed a performance on the main street where the 3 Munchkineers were performing much to the joy and delight of precisely 3 people who were making their way down the street, stopped for a moment, looked at the 3 of you as you were performing some sort of interpretive dance bongo routine, and they kind of looked, nodded, and then hurriedly went on their way. So, the 3 of you just finished your performance. Looking in the hat, you see that there is precisely 2 copper pieces in there, and one of them is bent. You have not earned enough money for the day's meals or drinks. This is going to be a bit of a challenge. However, just as you are packing up, a trio of guards comes up and says, "Oh, right, you lot. Are you the 3 Munchkineers?" And they kind of unroll a parchment and look at it, and then look at all of you with squinty eyes. And they're like, right, come with us. The king demands to see you. And the 3 guards swoop you up and escort you to Baron Talymir's, or King Talymir's now, fortress on the edge of town. The walk there is a pleasant one. It's a nice day. It's sunny. It's bright out. But the only accompaniment you have on the way there is the grumbling of your stomachs, because they are quite empty. And you arrive just as the Baron is finishing his breakfast. There's a spread of like roasted quail and poached eggs and sweet muffins, and he's just finishing his breakfast, and he's kind of wiping down, and he looks at the 3 of you, and he looks to his guards, and he's like, "Is this are these the next ones?" And the guard's like, "They are, Your Highness." Sleight of hand for some muffins. You're going to attempt to steal some of the king's muffins. I want to be clear on that. Because if you are, go ahead and bounce me that d20 and let's see what happens. No, you got this. You got... Oh, you were kidding. Oh, all right. Yeah, I can see how you might be kidding about that. Okay, so the Baron... the Baron looks at all of you. Baron slash King Baron, looks at all of you and is like, "Well, you brave heroes have been selected. I have been informed by the town guard that you are the bravest heroes in Emberton. I mean, outside of me and my trusted companions. And I have summoned you here because I have a quest that I wish you to go on. I am missing something, and I need noble heroes such as yourself to go and find it. As it turns out, when I was young, I lost a ring while out on an adventure. It was my younger, foolish days, and I fled from the dungeon before I could fully explore the place. And upon leaving, I realized that I had lost a family heirloom, a treasured belonging of mine, a ring. Simple brass ring with a small emerald gemstone in it. I lost this ring in the dungeon, and I need the 3 of you to travel there and find it. Bring it back to me, and you shall have a king's ransom, a reward fit for heroes of your stature. Do you agree? Of course you do. He doesn't even wait to answer. Wait for you to answer, he says. Of course you do. Now! Was it always a family heirloom, Odiniem asks. I don't know. Maybe. Ah, very good. Yes, I knew I could count on you. I've heard nothing but great things about the 3 of you. And he looks to his guards and kind of does this motion, and one of the guards whispers, 3 Munchkineers. Yes, the 3 Munchkineers. Yes, I've heard nothing but amazing things about you. So yes, you should go right away. Yes, I heard you were preaching about some deity that isn't Diomede. That's nice. One of my advisors came to tell me all about it, and I've decided to send you on this quest. So, yes, here's a map. Go find my ring. Now, before you go, of course, we'll just be taking any supplies to have for us, and we'll get going. Yes, he looks at you, and he's like, well, we will send you with a bit of food and some simple traveling supplies, but obviously, adventurers of your skill have all that you need, I'm sure. So, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. So, the Baron, you want to sense motive. These days, that's actually a perception check. You can bounce me a d20 if you like. Dan has played this game with me before, where he knows when I'm bullshitting him. Yeah, no, seems like the king's on the up and up. He's telling you the truth. That it definitely looks like he is totally telling you everything you need to know. Now, look at you guys go. So, a guard comes up to you and hands you a map that leads off into the countryside to a dungeon of some sort. And looks like a cave or something in the side of a hill. The Baron looks at you and says, well, we've packed up supplies for you, and they're waiting for you just outside the door, so go retrieve my ring, and you shall be rewarded handsomely. So at that, you are ushered out of the king's presence. The muffins just... Varsul is like, sir, are you going to eat all those muffins? And he's like, yes. And then you are escorted out. So you do not get any of the Baron's muffins. He's like, muffins are for people who find rings. So you are escorted out. And take it outside. And you get outside and you find that they have arranged 3 backpacks for you. Super Cookie, this is a ongoing in-chat RPG that we are doing. It is a persistent world event that I am sure you'll catch on to just fine. So yes, kind of. That's kind of what it is. It's a death trap dungeon. So the 3 of you are ushered outside, and there are 3 packs for you, and you open them up, you know, desperately hoping some of those delicious muffins are inside. But actually, all that's inside is like old trail rations. Like, you can see some of the hardtack sticking out of a wrapper, and some of it even looks like it maybe has a little bit of mold on it. Like, this stuff is cheap. It's not the good stuff. This is like cheap rations. So there's some hardtack, there's some jerky, and there's like a handful of like dried figs. And each one of you has like a turnip. It's not good. This is not good food. So you pick up your bags, and there's nothing for it but to make your way to the dungeon. On your way there, the 3 of you get to know each other. Feel free to introduce yourselves to each other as your characters would, since this is the first time a party of people have traveled together. Free turnip. Yeah. Free. No price at all. You eat your turnip like an apple. Everyone else is, I can't imagine, too happy about that. It's not good. You guys got this, I'm sure. It's gonna go great. You know, it's unfortunate that they don't allow gambling here on Twitch, because we could totally gamble about who dies first. It'd be great. All right. Okay, so the 3 of you banter back and forth while you stare at your rations as you're making your way down the street, and yeah. This food doesn't look very good, but, you know, it's better than nothing. You travel for a few hours, and along the way, you run into a body. There's a body on the side of the road. And the body has 4 items on him, and you can each pick 1. It seems rude to take all of them. So, you can each take 1. There is a potion with some blue liquid in it. There is precisely 8 feet of rope. There is a horseshoe, and there is a piton. Dan, you get to pick first as the person who registered first. So you get to choose one of those items. Which item would you like to choose? The horseshoe. Alright. Story. What item does Myth take? The potion. Alright. Last but not least, Nightrace. Varsul can take an item. There is 8 feet of rope and 1 piton. You get your choice between those two wonderful items. To be clear, you all have normal adventuring gear. So you have weapons and armor and stuff like that, but yeah. No, you don't get to tie the rope to the piton. That's not how this works, Steve. It seems so rude to take everything from the poor body that you can only take one of those two. Yeah, Dan, you have a rapier and leather armor. The Grey Fox, you have chainmail and probably a sword of some sort. Nightrace, playing Varsul, you have chain shirt and a weapon appropriate for your deity. So, great axe, that's fine. Yeah, okay. Shield and mace. Yeah, sure. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so you take the piton. Alright, that's a lot of items off that body. Let me mark those off. Nobody wants that 8 feet of rope. It's too bad. Alright. Screw with you guys. Okay, so alright. So, you pick up the items and leave the body behind. Nightrace, are you trying to figure out what the body died of? With that roll, you're not sure. Yeah, what killed the guy? All right. Yeah, with that roll, you're honestly not sure. Looking at the body, you have no idea what caused its death. Ah, shaking. All right. Okay, so you guys leave the body behind and make your way to the spot marked on the map. You travel for about another hour and arrive at the location. There you see a crumbling hillside with a cave entrance leading off into darkness. Next to the cave entrance, there is an alcove, and inside this alcove is a statue. A stone statue holding a giant stone sword. It's hard to make out much in the way of details about the statue because its face is missing, as if something hit it from above and just cleaved off the face, or it was worn away by time. One or the other. It's hard to tell, but there's no sign of what the face actually looks like. So let me go ahead and bring this up. So yeah, that statue is located right around F7. You can see it right there on the map. Now that I have a letter number designation. Alright, you guys are taking a close look around the area. You're both kind of scanning about, looking at things. I do have to ask that before you guys just go ahead and roll dice, make sure you announce what you're rolling for beforehand. You can announce what you want to roll beforehand and roll the die right away. That's perfectly fine. But announce it first and then hit the die roll. Just so that I know what I'm looking at and I'm not just seeing random die rolls. Okay. So, you take a look around and you see this statue and you see a passageway that appears to go off into darkness. Now, looking down this passageway, it does get very dark very quick. Nightrace, no worry. You're all good. I just want to make sure that we do it that way. Otherwise, you can be like, D20 roll, and if it's terrible, you're like, that was to scratch my foot. right? You know, so no worries. It's all good. Ah! Yeah, the spear is everywhere. Ah, hit the screen. Wow. Dan, what are you checking for traps? Did anyone get a torch in their pack? Yes, you do have a torch, but that means someone has to carry it. The hallway. Okay, so you're making your way to the hallway right away. Okay, so Sirhand, Sirhand is going first. Who is going second? Just curious, which one of you is going second? Okay, so Myth is going second and Varsul is in third place. By the way, Varsul, if you're wondering what spells you have prepared, you have a spell that detects magic, you have a spell that creates light, you have a spell that stabilizes someone who is dying, and you have a spell that gives someone a small bonus on a check. And then for your first level spells, you have a Bless, which gives everyone a bonus, and let's see, you also have, let's see, as a cleric, your other first level spell, is a protection from evil. So that's what you got. All right. You cast light on your shield. That's nice. Okay. Channeling, yes, you do have 3 channels. You basically have 3 heal spells that you can cast. So, in addition to all of your other stuff. Okay. So, Dan, Sirhand is in front. You enter the passageway at around E6 on the map there, and begin making your way forward. About 10 feet further in, you see a staircase going down into darkness. The light from the torch... Nightrace's PC name is Varsul. So you see a light from the torch in the... or not the torch, the shield, I guess. In the back is radiating forward past your position, so it does allow you to see. But Sirhand's low-light vision provides a little bit of extra vision capability, but not much. It does get very dark in here very quickly. So you see a set of stairs going down. You are keeping an eye out. Dan, could you go ahead and roll me 3 d20 checks? This is just you making 3 perception checks. So go ahead and make all 3 of those. I'm just kind of curious as to what you get. An 18. All right. That's your first one. A 17. Wow. Has Dan hacked the dice roller? Is that... Oh, and the third one's a 1. Okay. All right. I just needed you to give me some rolls because I know that you're going to be doing some searching and whatnot, and you're going to get those in an order. Okay. So, Sirhand, you make your way down the stairs, and you don't see anything really unusual. And eventually you get down to the bottom of the stairs, and you're continuing to make your way up the corridor, keeping an eye on the floor and the walls, just trying to make sure that there isn't anything that's going to trip you up. And you get to a point where you look down on the floor and you're like, something doesn't seem right. And on the other side, like 5 feet away, it looks like someone scratched something on the wall, but it's in a language you can't read. And it looks like there's an arrow pointing to the floor, and you're looking at the floor like, something about this isn't right. As a matter of fact, it looks like there might be a pit trap here. You are at around E2.5. That square right there. So between 2 and 3 in the E column. That's the spot that looks like it might be a trap. Yeah, Story may have found that last time, and he scratched something on the wall in Dwarven, but none of them are dwarves, so they can't read it. Yeah, it is on the other side. However, Dan made his check to spot the trap, so he found it before he ran into it. That's right, it does look like someone's been here before. Could be many someone's. It's hard to tell. It looks like the floor here has been trampled on many times. It looks like someone's been back and forth in this way a few times in the past few weeks, you would guess. The dust here is disturbed quite a bit. So, Sirhand, you see this trapdoor. You have alerted the others to it. What would you like to do about it? No, didn't fall to their death, just, nearly fell to their death. So, Sirhand, what would you like to do? You are in the front. If anyone else would like to do something in particular, just let me know. Okay, so, you're pretty sure that the trap is sprung via weight. That it's weight that causes the trapdoor to open. So, do you have something heavy you want to throw on the trap? There is not a way around. The trap looks like it takes up that entire 5-foot square. This map, by the way, is 5-foot square, so... You look, and there does not appear to be a way to go around. You are going to throw those luscious turnips on it. The turnip is not enough weight to trigger the trap. No, you toss your turnip on it, and the turnip sits there. That's it. That is not enough weight. No. Yeah, no. Sorry. You boop it with your mace. Well, as it turns out, you walk up and boop it with your mace. Very good. Yeah, it's easy enough to hit the floor. Slamming your mace down into it is enough to cause the trap to open. So the pit trap opens. The doors fall open. Down in the bottom of this pit, it looks like there is a mace or a flail. And a bunch of dried flower petals and some stem or stick or something. Looks like a flower fell down there and has just been rotting away. So, that's what you see down in the bottom of the pit. The pit looks to be about 20 feet deep. The doors are now open. That doesn't make it any easier to get across. And the doors are now slowly ratcheting shut. It looks like in just a few rounds they will be closed again. That's what you see. Great. Yeah. Well, that does help. It does not. Yeah. Okay, so Nightrace. So you're like contemplating disarming this trap, and Varsul just jumps right across. As a matter of fact, he jumps over you and lands on the other side, skidding to a stop. His ratty kind of cloak waves in the distance, and he kind of does a flourish and is like, "Ha ha!" Thank you for the bit, Steve. I appreciate that. And thank you to Varsul for doing amazing work. Varsul Jenkins. That's hilarious. You guys are funny. Yes, complete with superhero landing. Yeah, you roll a 20 and you get the superhero landing. That's how this works. You guys are fantastic. Okay, so Varsul is across, but Sirhand and Myth are not. What will you do to get across this deadly, deadly pit? Myth is waiting for Sirhand to disable the trap. That's fair, yeah. The cleric was the least likely person to pull that off. If you can disable it and that holds forever, which it, I mean, you would assume that it does. Alright, so Nightrace is waiting on the other side to try and help anybody who tries to get across. Nice use of ruffles there. And Dan is going to attempt to disable the trap. Dan, if Sirhand wants to disable the trap, this is a thievery check, which you are quite good at. But that's a terrible. Dan, you break out your tools and attempt to disable the trap, but that roll is really terrible. You can choose to reroll or suffer the consequences. You jump over. Alright, so you're going to suffer the consequences. Myth is jumping across. Oh, no! Alright, so... Okay, everybody. Here's what I need to have happen. Varsul, Nightrace, I need you to make a reflex save. Roll me a d20, and let's see what you get. If you get high enough, you can grab him before he falls down. Here we go. You know what clerics are not known for? Reflex saving those. Alright. Story, you're about to fall down this pit. Would you like to use your reroll? Otherwise, you gotta fall down the pit. That's what's about to happen. Your choice. Alright, so you're going to go ahead and use your reroll. Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, that is a number. Story. So you're falling down the pit, Story. That's what's happening right now. Let me make sure I know what your hit points are. Let's see, you're playing the fighter. It is higher, that is true, yeah. Do you get a chance to grab? Yeah, sure. No, you already got your chance to grab. He burnt his reroll. Nightrace, if you want to burn your reroll to attempt to grab him, I will let you do that. Alright. Okay, so, Story, you fall down the pit. Here's what happens. Story, you fall down the pit and take 10 points of damage. That's what happens. The fighter goes tumbling down the pit, and you take 10 points of damage. So, but that's okay. You're not dead. You just fall down the pit. You're by no means dead. You just tumbled down the pit, and are now down in the bottom. But people need to find a way to get you out of the pit. So you need to climb out. You're down there in the pit. The door is starting to close. It looks like you only have a limited amount of time before it closes. But since you have friends upstairs, you're pretty sure they could probably just reopen it. So, yeah, if only you had 8 feet of rope. I wasn't going to say anything, but it looks like that's just enough. Alright, so nobody has any rope. That's not in any of your gear. So, here's how this works. Myth, Story, you are down in the bottom of the pit. what are you trying to do? I gotta start with you. So, Story, you tell me what you're going to do, and then I'll let everyone else react. This is utter chaos. Okay, so here's the upside. Jumping is an athletics check, and fighters are pretty good at athletics. So that's actually a pretty decent roll. So Story is trying to jump out of the pit. So Myth is making good height. Nightrace is trying to catch him. That is a good enough roll. Story, you are out of the pit. You have made it out of the pit. Congratulations, you are now on the other side. This simple 5-foot pit that has vexed many a players. So, teamwork for the win. Look at you guys go. Alright. Use heal on Story. Very good. Okay. Go ahead and bounce me a D8. This is going to do quite a bit extra, so go ahead and roll a D8. Actually, it's going to do a D8 plus your wisdom modifier, so go ahead. D8, roll the 5. Alright, you're almost back to full, Myth. You're back up to 20 out of 21. Well done. Alright. So, Sirhand, you're the only one left on the wrong side of the pit. What do you do? Teamwork makes the dream work. Of course it does. Jumping, very good. Rogues and acrobatics are they do really well. No Haruhi did not grab the flower remnants or the Morning Star. Nightrace is ready to catch. Gotcha. Dan, go ahead and give me that D20 roll. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. An 11. That is actually good enough. Rogues are very good at jumping. Your bonus on jumping is actually like 8. Which is plenty good. No, you're fine. Nightrace, you didn't even need to help. That 2 is terrible. Like, he jumps past you and you, like, clap the air in front of you. Like, I got you. And then it's like he's past you. Alright. So, the 3 of you have made it across the pit. You're down a heal and a hit point. So, you know, that's not too bad. You guys are doing pretty well. So, you leave this behind and make your way up to the corner and turn and look into the next chamber. You guys are doing so well. Alright, so that too is terrible. Alright, so the 3 of you are able to carefully make your way up toward the next chamber. I'm assuming you return back to being in your marching order from before. That is Sirhand, followed by Myth, followed by Varsul. Is that correct? Alright. So, if you would like to inspect the horseshoe, you can. The only real way that the cleric has to inspect the horseshoe is by casting Detect Magic. 100 bits for Jump in the Pit. It's the 100-bit Jump a Pit. That's terrible. I'm not going to do that again. I thought I'd try it out. Alright, so you cast Detect Magic. The potion that you have picked up, Nightrace, does glow. It appears to have some magic about it. But the horseshoe does not. It just looks like a horseshoe. Doesn't look that there's anything special about it at all. Alright. So you make your way up to the corner and turn, and about 20 feet later it looks like it opens up into a larger room. Myth has the potion. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I saw Piton and thought it said potion. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, the potion that Myth has Yeah, that's just a horseshoe. Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. Myth has the potion, and it does appear to glow. All right. So, let me get to my control seat. Okay. So, you make your way up to the corner, turn the corner, and make your way up to the next room. The next chamber is a large-sized chamber. There appears to be two doors, one to the north and one to the south. They both appear to be kind of standard wooden doors with standard thumb latch handles. But there is another feature in this room, another couple features in this room, that are of interest and note. One is the giant black stone throne in an alcove on the far side atop a dais. This stone throne looks like it's made, it's carved to look like bones and skulls. The top of it is pointed and jagged. The arms of it look like they should end in like giant stone skulls or something, but they're missing. So there's just these holes at the end of the armrests of the throne. Slumped over in this throne is an old, decayed skeleton. It's yellowed and kind of ruined. It is wearing like soiled ancient vestments that cover its lap and go down it. Sitting in the vestments, you can see a brass ring. Nightrace, I will get to you in just a second. Let me just finish the description. So that is the skeleton. It is slumped over in the throne. Its arms kind of sitting near the handrests, but not on them. And it's just kind of sitting there, slumped over in the throne. Laying in front of the throne, closer to the stairs, is the body of a dwarf. It looks kind of rotten and decayed. It looks like it's been here about a week. It looks like another street urchin. Those poor street urchins. You guys know a lot of each other, and the street urchin population of Embertown seems to be declining. And this looks like one of them. So it looks like there may have been other individuals have been sent this way. And that body is on the dais just next to the stairs. So it's right around between F and G and between 3 and 4. So it's right there. Kind of in the square, right in the middle of the room. So that's where that is. The street urchin incident. Is that Fable? You know, funny enough, you haven't seen Fable in about a week. I thought they said it was a plague. Yeah, that's accurate. Sure, let's go with that. All right, so that is what you see in the room. There's a door to the north and a door to the south. You would like to check the door to the south. All right, are you going anywhere near the dais, or are you just heading to the door to the south? Staying away from that. All right, so you stay away from the dais, and you. It looks like you are all edging to the door to the south. Varsul, are you joining them? Oh yeah, your religion. That's right. Okay, so let me see. You rolled a religion check to make sure it's not some sort of weird altar. Rolling an 11 as a cleric, you're the demon death throne. Yeah. So you take a look at that altar, and you can't be certain from this distance. You might be able to tell if you were a bit up close, but that looks like an altar dedicated to Urgathoa, the goddess of death and the undead. So you probably don't want to mess with that thing. That's what it looks like from here. You don't see an overt religious symbol, but you see a lot of iconography. You're the first person to try a religion check on it, so yeah, enjoy. Alright, so that is what you see. Sorry, I need to mark off. Let's see. Story, you burned your reroll. I'll put a check mark next to yours just so that I don't remember. Don't forget. Okay. Yeah, Alara is very shocked, and for good reason, I'm sure. Okay. Alright, so you make your way up to the south door. Approaching the south door, you are able to go up and inspect it. You take a look at it. You don't see anything trapped. You don't even see a lock. It's just a standard pull handle. Standard kind of latch handle. So you can open it if you like. Stealthily push the door. Alright, so you make your way up to the door and begin to pull the handle, and I'm going to take a quick bio break because I've been drinking a lot of beer. So you guys talk amongst yourselves. I will be back in just 2 minutes. Alright, let's see, what am I missing? The handle is also cursed, but it comes with a free choice of Frogut. I do enjoy that bit. Alright, so, so, you have made it up to the door, the three of you hugging the wall, staying away from the scary, scary throne. And you make your way up to the door to the south. The doorway, you open it up, and beyond is a passageway. The passageway goes down about 20 feet, as you can see there, right between like F and G, down to about 6. And then turns to the left, from your perspective, and heads to the east. What do you do? Red axe ready. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. You're going to sneak in and take a look around the corner. Why, that makes some sense. Sure. All right. Okay, so you make your way down to the corner. You look to the left, and looking down that way, make sure I have the right piece ready here. Alright, there we are. Okay. So, looking down to the left, you see a passageway that goes for about 30 feet. This goes from about B4 to E4. Down about 20 feet down the passageway at around D4, right around there, there is a body laying on the ground. Let's see. Yep. Looks like a human in robes. Sure, Dan, go ahead and give me a perception check. Roll me a d20. Elara, this is the first time we've actually had the letter number grid. It helps me describe where you can see things. Dan, I think your d20 roll came too quick. Go ahead and give that another try. It's down to about a 5-second delay. There you go. What is even going on? Both of you got a 20. Okay, so, taking a look down this passageway, first of all, Dan, E4, damn, you sunk my rogue. Alright, this passageway, there is, some wind. There is, like, air pressure, positive air pressure coming down this passageway. Down the way, and you can't really see because it's dark. You can only see the kind of corridor that you're in. You can hear what sounds like swirling wind. The sound of wind is gracing your ears. The body itself looks unmoving. As you guys approach it, Nightrace eventually gets close enough to take a look at it. It looks like this body died from dozens of little tiny bites. There are bits of its flesh just missing all over the place, and all of its soft spots are gone. Like, those got eaten off, so like its face is just a skull with like bits of muscle and skin tissue there. It looks like it was at one point in time a human, but it sure isn't anymore. It is very dead. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you can picture what a piranha swarm might do to a body, this doesn't look dissimilar. Story, your myth is kind of in the middle of this and making his way down. What you notice, and kind of the others see this as well, is that the body looks like it was a... would you even have a lore for that? As a cleric of Milani and an acolyte? No, not really. Looking at the body, you can tell that it has a belt pouch that looks relatively intact, but the rest of its gear looks like it's been entirely ruined. Ripped apart and shredded, but it looks like it has a belt pouch that is intact. In StoryTheBard, you see that. So Myth spots that. Alright, so all three of you are there. This isn't exactly happening in secret. But all three of you are there, and you can open up the belt pouch, and inside is a potion with a bubbling red liquid in it, and a bent key. Oh, looking around the cavern. Oh, okay, I see. So Story, as they're searching the body, you kind of move forward a bit and take a look around the cavern. So, looking beyond, you see, and it's really hard to make out because you don't have good light, and you are a human, so you don't have great vision. But looking out into the cavern, you can make out what looks to be like a giant pit through the center of the room. All of that stuff in G, H, and I there is kind of a giant pit. You can't make it out too well because the light from the light spell being provided by Varsul's shield isn't quite reaching all of it except for dim light, so you can only just vaguely make it out. On the south side, it looks like there might be a passageway going off to the south. And in this pit, this giant pit, where you're being kind of assaulted by wind, you can see what looks like 2 pillars of rock sticking out of the pit. But that's kind of all you can see. If Varsul came forward, you might be able to see a lot more, but you would need to bring the whole party up. All right, so Dan takes the key and hands the potion to Varsul. Steve, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. We will see you next time, Steve. And if you want to catch the rest of this, reminder, folks, this will be on YouTube here within a few days. So have a good night, Steve. Dan, when you say you sneak into the cavern, what do you mean? Where are you trying to sneak to? Give me a location. Alright, so you're just trying to get into the kind of simplest entrance of the cave. I see that. And Varsul, you're trying to keep an eye out for sky piranhas. Very good. Okay. And Story is staying... you're keeping Myth a bit behind. So I'm assuming Myth and Varsul are about 10 feet behind Sirhand. Or, I guess, 8 feet and... 13 feet. And Dan, you're trying to get Sirhand to sneak in. So can I get you to roll a stealth check, Dan? Go ahead and give me that. That is a great check, Dan. All right. So you quietly move into the cavern, and you've kind of reached the point, you're about 10 feet in now, so you're at about E5-ish or so, E4, E5-ish, and you have snuck up to that point. Your friends are still at around D4, right around there. D4, between D and E, that's about where they are at. So that's the situation. You move to that location, nothing untoward happens. You still can't see very well. Your dark vision, Sirhand's low light vision, allows you to make out the fact that there is this giant yawning chasm. There are 2 pillars rising up over the chasm, or rising up out of the chasm, and you're being buffeted by winds. Yeah, well, somebody has to tank the bad rolls, I guess. Random dice roller is... it giveth and it taketh away. We got a whole bunch of 20s up there, so I'm sure this is all going to go well. You draw your rapier. Alright. I can't imagine why you would do that. Alright, so you've drawn your rapier. Alright, so you make a bunch of hand signals at the rest of them. They have no idea what you mean. But you're like, and they're just like, I got nothing here. Yeah, he's making weird hand gestures at you. None of it makes any sense at all. Yeah, no, none of you know Drow sign language. He might as well be doing jazz hands for all you know. None of it makes any sense to you at all. Alright, so when you say you're going in, what does it mean by you are going in? Yeah, apparently he cast some sort of spell. So, okay, so you're trying to scout ahead. Where are you trying to scout ahead to? Okay, so you're making your way to the big chasm. Varsul, Myth, what are the two of you doing? You two are currently still back at between D and E at around 4. So you're right in that area right there. There's a square right there. That's where you two are at. Are you staying behind, or are you following up still about 10 feet behind? Dan, while they're deciding that, go ahead and give me another stealth check. Go ahead and bounce me that magic D20. Ooh, Dan. All right. So, Nightrace, what were you rolling for there? I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, Dan's kind of bumbling forward. He like makes his way about 15 feet forward and he like kicks over a pile of rocks that just go clattering through the cave. Oh, keep an eye open. Okay, yeah, no, I see it. Okay, great. Okay, so... Hey, Story, can you bounce me a D20? Just kind of curious what it is. No particular reason. I just bounce me a D20. I'm kind of curious on a thing. Being as you're a fighter and all. Very good. All right. So here's what happens. Sirhand, yeah, your rogue restlessness is kicking in. Don't worry about it. You're fine. So Sirhand makes it to about G5 or so, right? So you're getting right up towards the edge of the pit. Meanwhile, everyone else is, the rest of the group's between E and F at around 5. So Dan, that's where you're at. That's where Sirhand is at. Myth, you're at more like F5, and Varsul's more at like E5. So the two of you have kind of moved forward. And, no, you guys are doing great, trust me. And when he gets up there, Sirhand kicks over a pile of rocks, and it just goes clattering across, and a bunch of them go flying into the pit, and it just makes a tremendous racket. He just kind of botches it and makes a whole bunch of noise. And quite suddenly, there is, let's see, Varsul, you were keeping an eye out, and you had an eye to the south, where there is this crack in the wall. And boiling out of this crack is just a swarm of, well, what you quickly come to realize are bats. There must be hundreds of bats come pouring out of the wall to the south. They just come swarming out into the room. And in amongst the midst of them, you can see they're like disturbed and thrown about by this gigantic bat that's in the middle of them. So here's what happens. These things comes boiling out of the cave, and at this point in time, I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative. So for all of you, this is going to be a perception check. I just need you guys to go do this. Remember, there's about a 5-second delay between each roll, so we'll have to see how this goes. Story is Myth, come on now. You are like the sin eater of this one. You are just eating all of the bad rolls like breakfast. Alright. So. Alright. Alright. Myth is not doing so well here so far. Okay, so I now have initiative order all set. I know what order everyone is going in. These bats come pouring out. Currently, the swarm of them is right around F, clustered mostly around F5, which is right near you. The giant bat is more like at F5.5. It's kind of closer to the back of the pile, but it's making its way out. So, that's where we're at. Sirhand, you get to go first. You won initiative, and you get to act first. What are you doing? By the way, I predict this is where it just goes entirely off the rails. We'll see how it goes. All right, run. Sirhand looks to jump the chasm. Okay. So you're going to attempt to jump from where you are at to the first pillar of rock, I'm assuming. Okay. So I need you to go ahead and make me a... this is going to be... I think jumping is an athletic skill check. Double checking. No, let's screw this up. You did put it there, didn't we? Yes. Jumping. Athletics. There we go. Alright. So, Sirhand, I need you to make an athletic skill check. Go ahead and bounce me a d20 to jump to the first pillar. If that's what you're doing, you need to go ahead and roll me that check. Oh. Alright, so you jump from the edge to the first pillar of rock. This one doesn't seem that far away, but as you leave the boundaries, you notice two things. First of all, you're not sure this pit has a bottom. It looks really deep. You can't see a bottom. And second, there is a tremendous updraft. Like, it almost kind of helps keep you up, but it's not good. You nearly completely blow it and lose your footing, but you manage to land on the pillar of rock that is between G and H at around 4. You are on that pillar of rock. That was one of your 3 actions, Dan. What would you like to do with your second action? Hey there, Majuna. You have momentum right now, so you could attempt to jump to the next pillar of rock. Jump to the next one. Very good. Give me a check. Okay. So, Dan. That roll is not good enough, Dan. Would you like to spend your reroll, Dan? Would you like to spend your reroll? I'm checking now. This is a very hard jump. No, it's not enough. You have some problems facing you on this one. You are burning your reroll. Very good. No, successive skill checks do not get a penalty of 5. Here we go, Dan. 17. A 17 is good enough. You make it to the far pillar, and I'm serious. This was a narrow thing. You just managed to make it across. The wind was blowing you up towards the ceiling, and looking up, you see that that's about 50 feet away and covered in stalactites, and you would have been impaled in it. But you somehow managed to fight through the wind and come down landing on that plinth of rock. Dan, you have a third action. What do you do? I'm assuming you're going to attempt to jump the final bit of distance. You are out of reroll, by the way. Very good. Go ahead and give me your roll. I'm sure this is going to be great. Uh, 11. The last jump is not as far. The previous jump was like 15 feet and was much harder to make. No, it's not about the landing area, it's about the distance. And the distance here is very short. Sirhand crosses the pit. That is the end of your turn. Alright, congratulations. The bats go. So here's what happens. The swarm of bats flies over to Myth and Varsul. It flies around you and swarms you and does a swarm attack, and it does so twice. So the two of you are taking swarm damage twice. Alright, so that dealt 5. And 3. So both of you take 8 points of damage. Sirhand, you're not out of this. The large bat can't get at them. They're being swarmed by the swarm of small bats. The big bat goes flying across the pit towards you. It goes swooping across the area. Its first action moves it almost up to you. Its second action is to cross the pit. Well, actually, its first action gets it part of the way there. And the second action is to cross the pit. And when it does so, it has to do these weird acrobatic flying maneuvers. Which it does, but it doesn't get into a great position. And it comes swooping over to you. And with its third action, it attempts to bite you. Let's see, your rogue. That is going to hit. You are bit by the giant bat. Sirhand takes, let's see, 9 points of damage. That takes you down to 7. Alright, that is the bat's turn. You have the giant bat on you. It is a big, terrifying bat. It can't do it this round, you're positive of it, but it tried to grab hold of you when it bit you. Ah, Dan, just like old times. All right. Varsul, it is your turn. What would you like to do? You got this. You got this, Dan. Varsul, Nightbot. Sorry, not Nightbot. Nightrace, it is your turn. What would you like to do? You are being swarmed by bats. I try and club some bats out of the air. All right. Oh, no. Not with that, you don't. Nightbot would not do a great job at this. Nightrace, your first swing is terrible. It goes nowhere at all. So the thing about the command is you have to put the command first. Otherwise, it won't recognize it. So go ahead and make a second check. Yeah, you got it. 16 plus your bonus, but minus 5 is going to be enough. That is going to hit. And then you raise your shield. Very good. So you did hit with the mace. So go ahead and roll me a d8. Yeah, I caught that. You did hit the bat swarm with your second attack though. D8, 3. From you, that's going to be a +2, so the bat swarm takes 5. Alright. Your mace swats a number of bats out of the air. They fall to the ground dead. It looks like some of these bats look like they have burn wounds on them. Alright. Nightrace, that was all 3 of your actions. You have raised your shield. That you're not sure that this will protect you over much, just because the bats are kind of everywhere. But you might be able to block some of their damage at least. With your reaction. Alright, that was Nightrace. Story, it is your turn. Why do I expect you to just run? Forget it, I'm out. Attack with your great axe. That's certainly going to hit. That is going to hit very cleanly. Go ahead and... no hard, they don't quite work that way anymore. So go ahead and roll damage with the great axe. I believe it's a D12. Yeah, it's a D12. Does that crit? No, it does not. Nope, not high enough. Nope. 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. The swarm has now taken 17 points of damage. It is very badly hurt. The bats look very badly wounded. The swarm does, anyway. So, that was your first action, Story. You still have 2 more. What would you like to do? Attacking again, very good. Oh, 4 is not good enough, though. You swing wildly. The bats seem to be everywhere. You've cut a bunch of them up, but they seem to be all over the place. That's not going to hit. Myth misses with his second attack. You still get 1 more action. What are you doing, Story? Getting the potion out would be an action, and then drinking it would be an action. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. 12 on your third attack, I'm afraid, is not going to be enough. You suffer such a big penalty that ends up only being like an 8. So that is not going to hit. Actually, it's more than an 8, but it's still not that much. Okay, so that was all 3 of your actions. Top of the order. Sirhand, it is your turn. What are you doing? I like how people are turning in for Pathfinder Kingmaker and just finding this to be a different game entirely. I hope you're enjoying it. You swing at the big bat. Okay. Go ahead and give me a d20 roll to swing at the big bat. 14 is going to hit. Go ahead and roll me a d6 damage. It's not a crit. Not even close. But that is going to hit, so go ahead and roll me a d6. 2. Alright, you give the giant bat a small wound. You have cut it across its furry body, but that doesn't look like it's slowing it down. Dan, what would you like to do next? Alright, go ahead and roll me a d20. Swinging again. Your rapier darts out. 17 with your second attack will also hit. The penalty makes that almost a miss. You just barely managed to land this hit. Go ahead and roll me a d6 again. Decent amount of damage. The large bat has taken a handful of damage. Alright, Sirhand, you still have one action left. What are you doing with your third action? The bat looks wounded now. Not terribly, though, I have to admit. It's a big bat. No, it does not look really hurt. It looks like you have dealt it some damage, but it does not look really hurt. I would not describe it as really hurt. Run! Okay. Where are you running? North? I mean, there's really nowhere else to go. I mean, I suppose you could try and run south and hide in a crevice or something, but there really aren't any from what you can see. J2. Alright, so you're running north. Okay. Alright. So you go running to the north. The bat does not get a free attack or anything like that. It's just a bat. So you go bolting to the north. We'll deal with that in a moment. Next up, the bats go. So the swarm is going to go first. And the first thing it does is swarm attack the two of you. Dan, we'll get to you in just a moment. The bat swarms are going to swarm attack Myth and Varsul. And they're going to do that 3 times because they automatically hit. Let's see. Varsul, you said you had your shield out. Do you want to block? You can spend your reaction to shield block if you like. Oof. 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 Okay. So let's see. It's not great. All right. So, story. You are bit dozens of times, dozens of times, and everything goes gray. You're like slumping to the ground. Everything's going gray. You're losing consciousness. Varsul, if it wasn't for your shield out and blocking with your shield, you would have gone unconscious as well. But you just barely managed to hang on. So here's where we're at. Myth, you are at 0. Varsul, you are at 2 hit points. That's it. That's where you guys are at. That's the status that you guys are at. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I need to update that. I do stream this chat RPG here. Yeah. So, welcome, Bone Bra. I'm streaming some RPG. I don't usually. I'm usually playing Kingmaker. Alright. So, Myth, Varsul, that's where you guys are at. Yeah, I figured you were. No worries. The big bat spends one action attempting to follow Sirhand, but it can't. You've gone into a narrow passageway and it's not trying to follow you. It can't get up there. It leaves you be and turns around and flies back across the pit towards the others. But that's all it does this round. So the giant bat is making its way back towards the other two. And Myth is unconscious. Varsul is still up and fighting, but is down to just 2 hit points. Next up, Varsul. What do you do? It's a very difficult situation. The bat swarm looks very badly hurt. The big bat does not look that badly hurt, and it is swooping down toward you, but it's not on you just yet. Yeah, the loot-shaped maul really saved him. Did really well for him. Attack, heal, heal. Alright. Nightrace. That 7 is not very good. Do you want to keep that, or do you want to re-roll it? I will tell you this right now, that 7's not going to hit. Fishnerb, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. Thank you. Reroll. The last reroll is being spent. 18! That's gonna hit. Go ahead and roll damage. You're rolling, I think with this, I think it's D8. Go ahead and give me a D8. Seven! Oh. The bat swarm is dead. The bat swarm is gone. Your mace cleaves through the last of the bat swarms, and those that remain scatter and fly off to the wind. Hidden Twig, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. You guys have defeated the bat swarm. Congratulations. That's the first, I think, other than the zombie, I think that's one of the first foes that's been killed. All right, Heal Myth. Go ahead and bounce me a D8. 7. All right, that puts Myth. You are back up to 11 hit points. And what are you doing with the third action? Fishnerb and Hidden Twig, thanks again for subscribing, by the way. I really do appreciate that. You heal yourself. Great. This is your last heal spell. That heals you for 6. You are back up to 8. Oh, that's not great. All right. Myth, you have been brought back to consciousness just in time for you to act. You are laying on the ground. You were unconscious. You still have your weapon in hand, but you are prone. There's a giant bat bearing down upon you and Varsul. It's not on you just yet. I saw my Nana. There's a giant bat. Stand up and drink your potion, please. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Alright. You drink your potion. Alright, so you get out your potion and drink it. Go ahead and... Which one is this? Is this the blue potion? This is the blue potion. The one you found on the body. Yes. Okay. You drink the blue potion. Nothing happens. You don't get healed at all. It didn't heal you. It's not a potion of cure light wounds. It's not a potion of inflict. You don't feel it didn't hurt you. So there is that. But it didn't heal you any. You're not sure what it did. but it didn't do that. So, I will say this, Varsul, you can't see him anymore. You cannot see Myth anymore. Yeah, he disappeared. That's what it was. It's a potion of invisibility. So, Myth is now invisible. You have spent 2 actions to do that. And that's where you're at. So you have your 3rd action. The bat is not close enough to attack. Thank you, Hidden Twig. I hope you are looking forward to 2nd edition. We are really looking forward to showing it to you. No hard. Stop ruining my fun. Alright, so what are you doing with your 3rd action, Story? You can stand up. Alright, stand up. Alright. Top of the order. Sirhand, are you just leaving the room? Because if you are, I'll just take you out of initiative. You don't know if it'll be effective. You can try. Oh, I see what you were trying to do. You just went where it couldn't follow you. Okay. You go back into the room and start running and screaming and yelling. Roll me a... No, you do not have any hero points, Nightrace. Dan, go ahead and make me a D20 roll. This is basically an intimidate check. So you're over there waving and yelling and screaming at it. It's currently on that side of the room. So you're not sure it's having any effect, but you'll see when it takes its turn here in just a moment. Do you keep doing that for the rest of your turn? Do you just stand there kind of screaming and yelling at it? Okay. Alright, so it goes. So, Nightrace, you don't actually get to go yet, just in a... Oh, okay. Alright, so, Dan, you're readying to swing at it if it gets within range. Alright, that's fine. Alright, so, the bat goes. Oh, I see. Alright, yeah, no, that all makes sense. Alright, so the bat goes. The giant bat, which is right over near you, is going to take a bite at Nightrace. It's going to try and grab hold of you with its bite. Here we go. Oh boy. So it bites you. That's not good. Oh no. Well, so does Myth get to take his AOO? He will in just a moment, but Nightrace, you just went unconscious. You're down to 0. You are now dying. No, he's going to get one right now, though. So here's what's happening. Story, Myth is invisible, and the bat seems to be ignoring you, at least for the moment. You're not sure if that's intentional or not. You can take a free attack at it, because here's what happened. It just grabbed So, Story, you take your free attack at it. Here's what happens. You scream the name of your Nana. You slam your axe into it, and it grabs. What happened is the bat ran up, bit and grabbed hold of Varsul, and then dragged him off over the pit. And you hit it as it moved away. So go ahead and roll damage. It's going to be a D12. I don't think this thing has taken much damage. No, it has not. 11 is a lot of damage. That is going to hurt it really bad. So, unfortunately, the bat didn't die. That is a lot of damage, but it's not dead. So, it takes Varsul, flies out over the pit, and drops him. Right down into the pit. Varsul, you see this bat coming for you. It's screeching, screaming, and it bites hold of you, and everything goes dark, and you're just barely conscious, and all of a sudden you see yourself spinning, flying over an empty nothingness, and you go soaring off into the darkness. That is the end of Varsul. Perception for the thud. So, here's what happens. The bat is very badly wounded and goes flying up into the cave ceiling. You're not sure whether or not it's going to come down, but I'm going to give you guys a round to decide what the hell it is you're doing. You are on opposite sides of the pit. The cleric and the rogue. Nightrace, I do want to thank you for playing. Feel free to continue to participate. But I'm afraid you have perished. I really do want to thank you for participating. I know that you kind of joined this this insanity kind of pressured at the last minute, so I really do want to thank you. It was a lot of fun, so I hope you had a good time. Oh yeah, the red bubbly potion went down in the pit. So here's what happens. The bat does not come after you. It throws Varsul into the pit and then gets blown up into the ceiling where it hides out in the stalactites. It may come back down, but it's not right now. So you have a moment to decide what it is you were doing. Aww. I feel like I broke up the group now. I guess I'll just have to kill the rest of you quickly. Alright, I'm going to give you guys a half second to decide what it is that you're going to do. And while you're doing that, I'm going to take a quick break. I need to grab another beer. So hold on just a moment, everybody, and we will resume in just a second. Hold on. Hello! Alright. Okay. This is taking quite a bit longer than I normally expect these things to run. That's not a bad thing. Class 76, thanks for the follow. Does 500 XP get you a res? You know, if I had unlimited time here, I would say sure. But I'm also worried that the way that this dungeon works, if you could just res for 500 XP, eventually you can just buy the solution. So, yeah, I gotta say no right at the moment. Yeah, it might take longer. That's true. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nightrace. I would, but we've already been doing this for like 2 hours now, so I gotta keep it moving. Eventually I'll have to make dinner. So, Story and Dan, you were on opposite sides. I don't know that it's quite been 2 hours, but it's closing in on it now. It is like nearly 9 o'clock. We started quite some time ago. I've had a couple breaks, but alright, so yeah, and you don't want to res in the abyss. That's bad. Alright. So, Story, you're on one side. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, so Story, you're trying to jump across. Okay. So, Story, you jump to the first pillar. You make it. No problem. The bat is still not interfering with you. But this next one, this is the hard jump. This is the one that if you fail it, there is no coming back. There's no grabbing an edge. There is only oblivion. Story. Go ahead and roll me d20. No, you can't jump back and assist. If you jump back, he has nowhere to jump to. Those pillars only hold one person. There is no way. Yeah. That's not good. So, you're playing a fighter, which makes you not incredibly great at jumping. You're not bad, but Nightrace. So, Nightrace, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That you know what? Here's the thing, Nightrace, that is so generous. If you want, I will give Story a reroll. For that much bits? Yeah, you can buy a reroll for that much. That's crazy. Alright, Story, you get a reroll. Here we go. Oh no! So you're jumping and your hands are stretching out towards the pillar and you've almost got it, and then you're like, no, forget it, and then just dive head first right into the pit. Sirhand, you see your good buddy Myth just go straight down the pit, just like swan dive. He just goes straight down. That's it. He's gone. Okay. So, Sirhand. I'm coming, Varsul. You just hear that as he crests right down the pit. Oh no. Alright. So, make sure I have everything set up for this bit here. Okay. I'm just grabbing one last thing. Hold on here just a second. Gotta get... All right. So. Get rid of that. Okay. So. No one's gone north yet. So, Sirhand creeps north. You make your way quietly up the winding, cavernous passage. And after about 30 feet or so... Hey there, Mark of the Dragon. Welcome. After about 30 feet or so, the cavern opens up into a long, large chamber. The passageway leads you up into this long, large chamber. Far to the north, you can see another platform, and between where you are at and that platform is a narrow stone bridge. Now, rising up out of the darkness down below, and it's not as dark like it was in the other chamber. Nightrace, thank you for the subscription. Tier 2, thank you. The dark down below has a glow like fire, but it is far in the distance. And there you go. Get yourself some Minotaur. That's from my Pirate Guard game, actually. So, looking across this room, you see a fiery glow from down below, and there are 4 pillars of flame, and you can see those at positions like right around B and E, around 4 and 7. So there's 4 of those, and they are pillars of flame rising up out of the darkness and going all the way to the ceiling. We were bad jumpers, that is true. So, the path, to be clear, is a narrow stone bridge that crosses over this kind of flaming abyss. Rapier in one hand, horseshoe in another. Alright. So, Dan, Sirhand, makes it out onto the bridge. Alright, I have to make sure I can do this the right way. So here's how this works. This is a little funky, but I've got a plan. Now, what's about to happen, Dan, is that I'm going to whisper to you. You do have the ability to accept a whisper from me, right? I would assume so. Because here's what happens. You step out onto the bridge, and on the far side, up near around C2, a shadowy dark form appears, large and imposing. And as it appears, and mind you, you're at about 7 on the bridge right now. That's about where you're at. So you're kind of just between the first 2 pillars of fire. Actually, sorry, you're just past them. You're at about 6. And you're creeping across. And a voice echoes into your head. And here's the way this is going to work, Dan. The voice echoes into your head a riddle. I'm going to ask you this riddle, Dan. And let me make sure I've got... There you are. I'm going to ask you a riddle, Dan, and you must respond with the answer. The answer you should respond with is in chat. Once you have given the answer, you can post the riddle. That is perfectly fine, but the riddle must be answered by you, and you alone. Which is why I'm posting it directly to you and not to chat. Alright? Alright. The voice echoes into your head, and it says, "Who are you who dares to approach me? Answer me this riddle if you would draw closer." Here's the riddle, Dan. Here it comes. Ready? Oh, you have whispers locked down? Alright. Oh, that is fair. I would post this in chat, but I'm worried about folks answering it. So, alright. So, you know what? Alright, everybody. This is one of those technicalities. So here's how this is going to work. I am actually going to post this to the Twitch chat. I have no other way to post this without not knowing that you've got it. So I'm going to ask everyone not to post. Do no posting. I want you guys to not answer this question. Everybody understand that? Only Dan can answer this question. If anyone else answers this question or makes a guess, it will count as an automatic failure. Okay? I don't know that I can silence chat. I don't know how to do that, to be honest. Mark, I would love to figure that out, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, everybody, here it comes. Dan, you are the only one who can answer. Here comes the riddle. Everybody, just silence out right now. Dan is the only one that can answer this. And here we go, right now. Here we go. Dan is the only one who can answer. I want no one else to answer. Dan, you must give me an answer. I will give you a little bit of time to think about it. Not much. The voice does not sound particularly patient. Dan, you answer a shadow. The voice says, "You may draw closer." Well done, Dan. All right. Yeah, I didn't want to go too crazy with these, everybody. This could be just a means by which everyone goes insane. You can find really stupid hard riddles. Dan, Sirhand, has answered the riddle correctly. You step forward on the bridge, and the voice speaks again. It says, "You who wish to draw closer to me must answer my second riddle." And it feeds to you another riddle. Same thing as before, everybody. I need everybody to go quiet. We have another riddle. Oh yeah, no, Dan, you're not done. Alright, here we go. The second riddle is beamed into your head. Everybody ready? Everybody quiet? Here we go, Dan. This riddle is coming directly for you. The voice says, "Feed me and I live. Give me a drink and I die. What am I?" Dan, you must give me an answer. The voice grows impatient. It repeats the question. Give me an answer. Dan, you don't get to half ask a question. Half give me an answer. Is sand your answer? Dan, I need you to give me an answer right now. Hidden twig. Nightrace, I really do appreciate you, but riddles are a thing that if you give a hint, they just come undone. Dan, you've given me like 6 answers now. The voice says... You who cannot decide shall perish. The bridge vanishes underneath your feet, and you fall deep and dark into the pit. Dan, I appreciate you trying there. You do suck at riddles. You actually, I think, had the answer with like your 4th guess, but I can't let you have 4 guesses. You did have it right. It was fire. I think everybody knew. There's a bunch of people who knew that riddle and were dying to tell you. But at this, you have fallen down the pit. Now, I do realize the group did have... yes, it was fire. That is exactly correct. That is a very old riddle. I didn't make that up. I'm terrible at making up riddles. But Dan, you have done very well. You found the riddle room that will have all new riddles next time. So good luck with that. I will let you guys know that that room is always going to contain riddles. So good luck with that. They'll never be super hard riddles, but they're probably all going to be interesting classic riddles. So that is the clue and piece of information I'm going to give you. I hope you guys really did enjoy playing this chat RPG. I certainly really enjoyed playing it. You guys did fantastic. I do want to say you guys have made some real progress on this that is really going to help us future adventurers succeed. This is the furthest anyone has managed to make it. You guys made it up to the riddle room, which is area... Yes, an area. I'm not going to say numbers. I nearly did. So, I want to give you guys congratulations. You guys did kill the swarm. That was fantastic work. The swarm is now dead. It will not be respawning. That is it for the bat swarm. So nobody has to worry about that again. Hail the 3 Munchkineers, the killers of the bat swarm. The giant bat is very badly wounded. And here's the thing. I am going to be out the next 2 weeks. There will not be a stream this coming Tuesday. There will not be a stream this coming Saturday. There will not be a stream the Tuesday after that. I am going to be at GaryCon and then Gamma. But once I'm back, I get back the Friday, so 2 weeks from now, there will be another stream, and that is going to be on March 16th, will be the next stream. That'll be a Saturday, so look for another stream on March 16th. I am going to count this 2 weeks as not occurring, which means if folks want to play in that game, it'll be as if no time has passed. Normally I let time roll so that if people don't play, things heal up, things restore. In this case, I'm going to be nice because you guys did such a great job and threw so many bits at me. The bat will be as wounded on that stream as it is today. So if more people want to play then, that's the benefit you get. So I'm going to give you guys that.